What's up, YouTube? Georgia Silver Hunter back with another coin roll hunting video. Today I went to the bank and picked up a box of halves, a box of quarters, and a box of pennies. Now we're probably just doing the box of halves and quarters in this video, so stay tuned for my penny hunt sometime in the next couple of days. As you can see, I've already opened this box of halves. We've done the coin roll. We've checked for enders. Nothing special. We've seen a couple of different marked coins on either side of this box, but nothing to write home about. We've been finding silver kind of sporadically, one here and one there, but we haven't hit the mother lode in quite some time, or even a box that had 2 or 3. So let's hope we do a little bit better in this box. And it's actually been quite a number of boxes since we found an error or variety. So we're going to be hunting for those as well. So stay tuned. I'm going to get this box pushed back and we're going to get right into it. So here we are in roll number 2. I've already taken a peek, but I wanted to bring you guys in. As I peeled off the paper, I could see a really white line through the paper. And this doesn't always mean that we've got something that's interesting. A lot of times it ends up being just a really, really shiny, nice coin. But in this case, we did end up with a 2015 Philadelphia NIFC, which means not intended for circulation. These coins were never made to be circulated. People bought them in rolls or got them in mint sets or what have you and broke them out and ended up spending them like regular money. Today, they're still just worth like 50 cents, maybe 60 cents if you can find a buyer. Unless you complete an entire set from 2002 to present day, people will pay a nice little premium for you to put that set together for them. It's still a find because it's not supposed to be in the box. So I'm bringing you guys in on roll 10. Along the way, I did find a stickered coin, which is, we always pull and call it a find just because they're kind of interesting. I've never seen a Barack Obama stickered $50 before, and either this was scratched off by accident or maybe on purpose. Somebody maybe didn't want Barack Obama on their money. Either way, no matter how you feel about that, it's worth 50 cents. So we'll put it on the board as a miscellaneous find. But I did want to bring in here on roll 10 because we had some gray rim here and a couple of really shiny, so I figured we'd check those out together. Let's see. Oh, did I pass it? I passed it. That was a 96, so it was a faker. It wanted to be silver, but it wasn't. This really shiny one here. There's a 2011 Philadelphia. And this other really shiny one, 2015 Philadelphia. So a couple more NIFCs to add to the batch. Unfortunately, we were faked out by that silver or that gray edge. It happens. All right, back to the hunt. All right, well, we have reached the end of this box, but I'm bringing you in on the very last roll. It had a little surprise for us. Not silver, but you can probably see that really, really thick rim in here. It is a 1978 S proof. You can still see the mirror finish on it. It is in really bad shape, but it is a proof. And you'll see I have a lot more NIFCs up here on the board, and I will cover all those in the wrap-up. I just didn't bring you guys in for all of them, simply because I brought you in for 3 or 4 already, and NIFCs really just don't have a lot of value, so there was another shiny. 2010 Philadelphia, so we got another. We have one more NIFC for the board. And maybe one more. Let's have a look. Don't know. Nope, just a 1971. So I'm going to finish going through these. I've got a couple of 71, 73s, and 74s to look at for DDOs, and then we'll do a wrap-up and move on to our quarters. Okay, well, we checked everything we had for errors and varieties, and we came up short. I did want to bring you back in here because we did find quite a number of NIFCs. And of course, at the very end, what I just showed you was that 1978 S-clad proof that has some kind of gunk on it, and it's not in great shape, but I hang on to all my proofs. We did have a 2004 Philly. We ended up with 3 2010s. We had a 2011 Philly, a 2013 Denver, a couple of 2015 Phillies, it looks like. We had a 2016 Denver, and a 2020 Philly. And I don't find a lot of 2020s, so this is something I'm going to hang on to. I've been finding a lot of 2015s lately, and the rest of this is pretty much going back. So, you know, of what I'm keeping, it's probably these two. mainly because I'm finding it harder to find the current year, the most recent NIFCs, as you can see from the top row here. The rest of this is going back to the bank, so not a lot of value here. Just a little bit more for, call it, my collection. For the average person, this would have been a giant waste of time. But if you coin roll hunt and you create sets and you hang on to things and you're a little bit of a collector, not a bad find for a box. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and get into a box of quarters. So here we are with our box of quarters. I've already taken the liberty of opening it because I wanted to make sure they were circulated. And if they weren't circulated, I wanted to see if they were 2019s, 2020s, or 2021s, because that makes for a very different video. As you can see, I've already looked. We have, looks like a 2021 on the ender there, and old and new quarters already here in the first two rolls. So we have a nice circulated box, it looks like. We're going to jump into these. We are looking for all manners of errors, silver, foreigns. I've got a link in my description down below that you can just pull up my Google Doc. It'll tell you when I do quarter hunts or nickel hunts or half hunts, everything that I'm typically looking for, with a little bit of an explanation. If you have a question, feel free to leave me a comment down below. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. So if you're just a casual viewer of people hunting coins, happy to answer any question you have. I also take requests. If there's something you want me to do a video on and do a little bit more in-depth analysis of my thinking or what all these coin roll hunters out here are doing, happy to take requests and try to make you a video. And with that said, if you are a casual viewer and you haven't subscribed, take a second, go down below this video and click on that subscribe button and click on that little bell so you get notified every time I release a new video. My channel's been growing pretty well lately, considering I've been swamped at work and haven't been able to make as many videos as I used to. But I'm excited by that, but it's like more than 70% of my viewership hasn't subscribed. So it just helps the channel out a lot. If you could, just take a second, go down there and click on that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. So with that said, I'm going to get this box pushed back. I'm going to get into these quarters, and hopefully we find something interesting really early in this box to bring you in on. I'm on roll number 6, and so far we've had a pretty heavy 2021 P crossing the Delaware. We're already up to, I think, 33 or 34. We've had one 1983 I got to put under the scope, but I wanted to bring you in just to show you that it's not just customer wrapped rolls where you can get a little bit ganked. Even from the Fed, you can end up with nickels and pennies in your rolls. So here's a 2020 P nickel buried deep into roll number 6. Anyway, sorry it's not more exciting, just showing you it can happen. So we are on roll number 12, and the Fed just has to do better. This is now 2 Fed wrapped rolls with nickels, another 2020p. That is 2 nickels for the board. Of course, our crossing the Delaware is growing exponentially. We do have a few varieties to hunt for a little later in the hunt, and we're still just going through quarters. And just like that, we are done with an entire $500 box of quarters. This is probably one of the worst quarter boxes I've had in several months. I did end up with getting shorted by 2 quarters. I do have a bin full of ugly and dejected quarters and half dollars that I come across, and I probably put 5 in here that are so chewed up that the coin machine won't take them. Stuff like this. Probably 5 or 6 ended up in that bin. I did get one cool find for me because I've been trying to get a really nice P and D of the new 2021 quarters, and I did get one crossing the Delaware Denver quarter, so I'm going to flip that up. So I'll have both of those. We're going to skip this big pile in the middle here. You can see what it is. I've kept all my 1983s. I haven't scoped these yet. I did scope all of my error and variety opportunities, and they were all nil. There was nothing there. I did get 3, 6, 7 Denver bicentennials that do have a DDO. Unfortunately, none of these had it. And I did end up with 5 Philadelphia bicentennials. So I was right on for my average here, give or take. I think I had, what is that, 7, 10, 11, 12. I usually get like 14, 15, somewhere in there. So that's not too bad. Most of these things, though, are all going to go back to the bank. What I did have, and I've been talking about this my last few quarter videos, is I've been keeping track of the number of these crossing the Delaware quarters that have been creeping into my boxes. So it started with 1 or 2, and then it went to 10 or 12, and maybe on my last box, I'm making this up because I don't exactly remember, I maybe had 15 or 20 or 23 or something like that. Well, this box, as you can see, each one of these stacks is $2.50, so a row is $10 or an entire roll. And you can see I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 full rolls of crossing the Delaware quarters. Keeping in mind, these were all pulled 1Z, 2Z, 3Z out of individual rolls. So I didn't have any complete rolls of Delawares. These were all mixed in with the other quarters. And I had 3 left. So 6 rolls, $60 plus 3, $60.75. I am going to go back and scope these because they have found a couple of DDRs on these guys with some, or maybe not DDRs, but die chips and things like that on the backs of these. I'm going to see if I can find one of those, maybe something interesting that I can tack here onto the end of the video. So we've done a little bit of cleanup, and as you can see, we've gotten rid of most of those crossing the Delaware quarters. I've gotten rid of the 1983s. We didn't have any of the Spitting Eagle in there. But I did want to take you over to the computer and show you something I found in all of these. I don't know how many it is, 25 or so maybe. Crossing the Delaware. I think it's a pretty typical error that's found, but I wanted to show you what I see. And then there's these 5 are also exhibiting something else that looks a little bit strange that I wanted to put under the scope and just show you guys. At the end of the day, I don't think they're going to create a lot of value on these quarters, maybe make them worth $1 or 2. But we'll see. Let me take you under the scope. We'll have a look together. So the first thing I want to do is actually show you a crossing the Delaware quarter, a standard quarter that has no issues, or at least no issues in the area that I'm talking about. Turn that camera or that light off so we don't have those ripples. And I may have to rotate the quarter to get a nice clean view, but here on the hat, you'll see here we have a nice straight line, more or less, nice straight line. And I will spin this guy around to see if we can get the light to change a little bit. Yeah, you'll see, still nice straight line, so on and so forth. So keep that in mind. So like I said, I have about 25 or 30 that look like this. When I turn this in the light just so, you'll see we've got a little bit of a glob of metal. So I think this may be a little bit of a die chip or something in the finishing process that's causing this. And I can just grab any one of these out of those middle rows, and I'm just sliding that one out of the way so you can see it is in fact another quarter. There we go. Here's our little glob. Right? It's a better look. I'll grab another one right off the top here. And there it is again. Now, like I said, they're all about this same size. Okay? We don't have any that are really outrageous. They're all this little glob here at the top of the hat. So that's, potentially die chip error number 1. And then the second one is kind of subtle. I think some people are trying to call this a DDO. I don't believe it necessarily is. And on first glance, it looks like it could be post-mint damage. I've got one more light. Let me turn it off. We're getting more. There we go. You can see right here in the ridge of the hat, we've got what looks like a little bit of a cut. Some are saying it's doubling. It doesn't go all the way to the rim. But this is one example that I have from these quarters. Again, I'm going to put the clean one, the regular one up here. You can see that cut is not there. It could potentially be post-mint damage, but I found 5 of them that have the same little error or cut in it. You can see it very clearly. Oops, I just moved it around. You can see it very clearly right here. So let me get another one just to show you that I have multiples. And there it is.
So I'm not sure if this is officially an error or not. Perhaps in the minting process or while they're in the bags, this is a common place for this coin to get some post-mint damage. Or maybe it's an error. I don't know. But I thought it was interesting enough to pull you back into the video and show you this. Like I said, I found 5 of these, which makes me believe that it is not just a typical post-mint damage. All right, well, I'm going to leave it there.
And of course, I will bring you in if I find that spitting eagle. I'm not hopeful, though. Other than that, this may be the only quarter, this 2021D, that we keep out of this whole box. I guess plus the bicentennials, because I do sell those by the roll for a decent little profit. So with that, if you don't see a video that, if you don't see a clip here on the end, this is the end of it. It means I didn't find anything in here. Sorry, this has been a little bit of a bad video. Boxes have been real slow the last few weeks. So I had a week where I couldn't get them. And then once I have gotten them, they haven't been great. You know, I have gotten lucky and found a silver here or a silver there. But outside of that, they haven't been real interesting. So thank you for watching these videos. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subbed to the channel, please do. Look down below this video and hit that subscription button. And click that little bell so you get notified every time I release a new video. Anyway, you guys take care. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one.